Welcome to American Honey and this episode of Honey Bear's Kitchen. Together, we will learn to cook. Welcome back to Honey Bear's Kitchen. Today, we're making taco lasagna. I don't know what else to say about taco lasagna other than it's sure to be a crowd pleaser and it's simple and easy. And let me tell you, that's what I need right now. I don't know what it is about having a week off for the holidays that just makes you feel like you need a break after you're done. What is that? As always, you can find an ingredients list and how much you need to buy in the description of the video, but here it is. Flour tortillas, some type of ground meat. I'm using ground beef. You could use ground turkey or ground chicken. There's a cheese sauce element that goes with this. Heavy whipping cream, butter, some type of Mexican cheese blend. I'm using shredded cheddar today because that's what I had in the fridge. Salsa or fresh Pico de Gallo. When you use the fresh stuff, normally it's hotter because it has fresh jalapenos. My youngest is sensitive to heat, so I'm using mild salsa. Creole seasoning. We have Tony's around all the time. Tony's is awesome if you haven't had it. Just go easy when you're first trying it because it's very salty, so don't overdo it. And a pack of taco seasoning. All right, let's mix it up. If you've been around Honey Bear's Kitchen for any length of time, you know how to brown ground beef. Just in case, we're gonna do medium heat. This is 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Again, you could use ground chicken or ground turkey. Normally, I would salt the ground beef at this point, but this time, after it's drained, we're going to add taco seasoning, so that's salty enough. The ground beef is returned to the heat, and you follow the directions on your taco seasoning mix. Mine is just stirring in the powder and mixing in 2/3 cup of water. My package says simmer for 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so the ground meat portion is done. We're gonna set that aside. We're going to get a medium sauce pot. Put it on medium to low heat this time. We're gonna make the cheese sauce, and dairy products scald really easily. We're gonna melt 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of butter. To the melted butter, we're going to add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. We're gently going to mix that with a whisk before adding in the cheese. We are not looking to bring the cream mixture to a boil, just to heat it up so the cheese will melt. It's starting to steam a little bit. I think it's time we add in the shredded cheese. Just make sure you keep stirring. As the cheese is melting and mixing, we're going to add in a little bit of Tony's Creole seasoning. You don't need a lot. Like I said, Tony's is really salty. We want to make sure we don't oversalt the dish. All right, that looks beautiful. I don't see any chunks of cheese. I think the cheese sauce is good to go. I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm going to let it stay warm just to make sure it stays pretty thin. The next thing I would like to do is pause for just a second and give a shout out to 2 very special Honey Bear subscribers, Mike and Jess, who thought I needed a new chef's knife for Christmas, and they hooked me up with this Meissen chef knife. I believe it's 8 inches long. I am not typically a fancy knife kind of guy. I am a Walmart knife kind of guy. This is not a Walmart knife. Let me tell you, this is a very generous gift. I'm blown away. I actually feel a little bit bad that I'm not going to be slicing through a nice juicy chunk of meat for my first cut. We're going to be slicing taco shells. I promise to give you some awesome action shots with this knife in the future. It's so fancy that it came with directions, like how to hold it, putting your thumb and your forefinger on the blade and the rest of your hand on the knife to give you more control. That's a fancy knife. So here we go. Are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. Now, this is a stack of 12 tortillas, kind of like trying to slice through a telephone book. So let's see how this works. Oh my, like butter. That's a sharp knife. This is an awesome knife. Thank you again, Mike and Jess. You're going to see this knife in action a lot in upcoming episodes. Thank you. This is where we start to wrap it all up. I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees. I have non-stick cooking spray that I'm going to treat the bottom of my 9x13 pan. Then we're going to take the tortillas that we've cut in half and line the bottom of the pan. Cutting them in half just allows us to get all the way to the edge. We're going to put in approximately 1/3 of the meat mixture. Try to make sure we spread that out evenly, get it into all of the corners. We're going to mix the cheese sauce for one last time and then pour 1/3 of the cheese sauce. Man, that sauce smells good. Almost like buttered popcorn. Then we're going to sprinkle the salsa with a fresh Pico de Gallo. If it wasn't for my youngest not liking the heat, that's what I would use, because fresh is always better. But it's okay that we're doing this today. And then we're going to repeat those steps. Using a spatula to make sure you get every last drop of cheese. I started with 3/4 of a jar of salsa. If I had a whole jar, I probably would have put the whole thing on. After you've spread out the final layer of meat and cheese sauce and salsa, sprinkle on the last cup of shredded cheese. Then we're going to bake that for 20 minutes in an oven that has been preheated to 400 degrees. My timer just beeped, and look what we have in here. Oh, look at that bubbling pile of awesomeness. That looks like taco lasagna. It smells awesome. This looks and smells fantastic. I'm holding the dog because she was making noise and I had to finish this up real quick. Whenever you have something cheesy and gooey like this, you want to leave it cool before you cut it. I will make sure you get to see a plated picture. If you've been enjoying this content, please hit that like button, comment, share this. If you're not already subscribed, do that, because then you won't miss future episodes. I'll see you next time.